All right, so you got to slide 13. At this point, if you have yet to turn in slides 1 through 12 with a shareable link on my Canvas assignments, please do that before going on, as that's a 22-point formative grade for slides 1 through 12. But you are at the project portion of the Displaced Refugee Hyperdoc. And what you need to do is, first, you're going to pick one of the stories that are linked there. There are a bunch of videos and articles of various refugees' stories. And what you're going to do is when you pick one, how many? Just one, you're going to chart their journey. And you're going to do so either using Google My Maps, Google Earth, or a new choice this year, Adobe Spark. I've been thrilled with the projects that I've gotten this year. I've had more students use Adobe Spark than ever before, and I think it would work well for this type of assignment. So you're going to pick one of these, choose one that you're interested in, choose one that you want to work with. It could be video or an article. And then this is what you're going to do. You're going to chart where they fled, so their home country where they left. Any stops or any travel along the way, if they mention that. Some mention it, some don't. Some talk about their home country and then life in a refugee camp, or their home country and then being resettled in another country. So each refugee's story varies, just like in real life. I mean, these are all real people that you're going to be reading about. This is nonfiction stuff. So on slide 15 is what you need. You're going to label the country of origin with a pin or Adobe Spark. You're just going to put, the home country. You're going to explain why did the refugee leave their home. You're going to explain what events were going on that caused this area to be unsafe for them. You're going to identify the push factors that pushed them out and caused them to flee. You're going to also explain the human rights violations that were occurring in their country that also played a role in them leaving. Then you're going to, if there's any mention of their journey, you're going to add those pins or add those spots on your Adobe Spark. Include pictures, quotes from the refugee story about our journey, approximate locations of where they were. If they resettle in a refugee camp or spend time in a refugee camp, you're going to first put a marker or add a spot on your post for Adobe Spark of where that refugee camp is. And then you're going to explain what life was like in that refugee camp, using quotes and quotations from the refugee themselves. And then what pull factors led them there. And if there's any human rights improvements, note those human rights improvements. If there's still human rights challenges, which is often the case in a refugee camp, note those as well. The final stop would be the resettlement country. So if your refugee is still in a camp, then it is the country that they fled, and then the refugee camp. If there is a third stop, a resettlement country, you're going to, or there might be more than 3 stops, depending on who you choose, you're going to put the country of origin, any journey stops, the refugee camp, and then the resettlement country. The resettlement country, what pull factors drew them to that country? What opportunities do they now have? Detail any challenges that they face, and then explain any human rights gained, or again, if there's still human rights issues, note those as well. Unfortunately, not all of these stories end with that happily ever after. That's just the case with real life. You're going to turn your final project with a shareable link onto my Canvas assignments and my Seesaw. Just like before, we're not going to look at each other's hyperdocs, but you will be looking at each other's refugee presentations. And this is the rubric. It's on the slide deck. It's right here. This is 20 points worth of standard. So the HyperDoc is 22 points of formative, which is 10% of your grades. This is 20 points of standard. So all of this together is high value, lots of points. So that takes us through our project. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I'm happy to help, and I look forward to seeing what you create.